Well, howdy doody, friends. Welcome back from the weekend that was filled with regional rivalries across the Rift Rivals event. We are back here on League Unlock. My name's Eric to look back at the wondrous occasion that was Rift Rivals and the event as a whole. We're going to give it a grade because 2017, a lot of people thought, really overrated event, doesn't mean anything, and was kind of lame for an international competition. Jump forward to 2018, and while they're still not really playing for anything other than a cash prize and some regional pride, 2018 as a whole was a much better put together event by Riot, pretty much across every single region. EU and NA kind of had the memes as you expect from the Western scene in League of Legends, and it was maybe not as serious as some of the other events, but still it had its serious moments. Teams seemed to relatively take it seriously, but you had things like the opening with, the NALCS Pigeon coming on the stage, which is pretty impressive and pretty well done by Riot there. You had the 2v2 events, the Earth to start things off. So it was a fun event, by far the most fun and happy-loving event. The LPL and the LCK was all serious, all business. They had their badass stage and all the players walking out, lots of colors. They had the hype teasers. So really you had everything covered, and the LCK and LPL events in particular really did feel like an international event. They were super competitive and for the most part played at pretty high levels of gameplay, so that was fantastic. The memes from NA and EU, but really the banter back and forth wasn't too serious, too hardcore, especially with the likes of the analyst desk, and you saw the trash cans that NA got to sit in at the end. But overall, Rift Rivals was fantastic in 2018, a huge improvement from 2017. I enjoyed the entire event and really liked how they changed for the relay finals and just playing every team once in the group stage. It added a little interesting element to it, having teams pick who you're going up against, and forcing every team to play in that best of was much more interesting than just seeing TSM 3-0 the Unicorns in the finals. So really enjoyed that. Kudos to Riot for making this event a great success, and already looking forward to 2019. But we got to recap the actual event a little bit, starting off with the EU versus NA, the battle for second, third, fourth best region in the planet, and EU comes out on top. Kudos to Europe. Round of applause for them. There's no doubt now that you can say Europe is greater than North America, EU greater than NA. Let's take a look at these standings that played out and finished. EU did win the finals 3-1. Pretty disappointing performance from North America across the board. We knew Fnatic and G2 looked super solid in the summer split so far. They went 3-1 and 4-1. We knew Splice was going to struggle a little bit. They started out 0-4. They did manage to pick up a win, and it was a huge win in the finals against Team Liquid, which was a win you thought NA should be winning, especially they get off to a great start in the first game to set things up, and then of course, all doesn't go too well for them after that. You thought they'd be rolling with maybe a 2-series win to start off with Liquid, 2 wins, but they don't get that. 100 Thieves definitely struggled. Brandini did not look good. They need someday back in the lineup. Levi did look fantastic for them. He was pretty much the lone player playing at an international level at this event. Echo Fox, Huni we'll talk about a little bit later, but Echo Fox was inting in a lot of those games. And even Liquid, they looked great in some of the group stage matches, taking down the likes of Fnatic in the rematch from MSI. But when it came to the knockouts, they did not perform well. And why is Echo Fox playing in that last game to close things out in the best of? I would have still been throwing Liquid in there for that game 4 against Fnatic. They had already beaten them at this event. Not sure why the coaching staff decided to go with Echo Fox, but they did. All credit to Europe. They definitely deserved this win. Even Splice showed up when they needed to and got a big win against Liquid. They definitely deserved that win. And one of the reasons they got that win was because of the Heimerdinger. And I know Wonder got MVP for the entire tournament for EU, but the real MVPs came in the forms of Aatrox and Heimerdinger for Europe. NA had no answer for those champions. Whenever they banned one or both of them, they more or less came away with the win, but at the event, they were both 4-0. Two of them were picked in one game. 5.1 KDA, 7.0 KDA for the likes of them. They were just completely dumpstered. It was Wonder doing a lot of the damage on that Aatrox, as well as Bwipo. Heimerdinger, you saw Kabi playing him, Soaz, Hjarnan. I mean, Doublelift was getting destroyed by it in the bottom lane, just kind of disrespecting those grenades and underestimating the amount of damage that the upgraded Rocket does on the Dong squad. Soaz and Bwipo were swapping roles almost every game. It seemed like one was going bot, one was going top. And Fnatic seem pretty lethal when they have that combo where they have kind of different champion pools. Soaz a little bit better on the tanks like the Mundo, but I mean, even Bwipo was playing Ornn at some point. Wonder, though, we will give him some credit. He did take home the MVP for the event, and he completely clobbered all the NA top laners. To be fair, Brandini, not exactly quite an LCS caliber top laner. Huni was, again, kind of inting in some of these games. And Impact, hey, G2, or Wonder just completely clobbered him. Kudos to him. Impact has played at a world level, so Wonder showcasing exactly what he did in EU, and that is dumpster the opposition. But Aatrox and Heimer, clearly EU knows a little bit better what the strong picks are here in this meta, and they really showed that. And North America didn't have an answer. They did not seem as comfortable on that Aatrox at this event, and EU showed that. They come away with the win. Dominant fashion. One of the big disappointments for North America was the likes of Echo Fox, who did play the most games for North America, and Huni wanted some revenge going against, you know, his former squad and Fnatic, playing them for the first time. He wanted to prove that North America is better than EU because that's where he plays now, but he had a extremely rough tournament. He did not look good. Echo Fox was tinkering with the roster a little bit. Dardoch actually looked great for them, but Huni, a guy who you expect to show up at an international event, was not good. He was constantly caught out. 1.4 KDA, way down in gold at 15 minutes, and the damage pretty low. 6th, 6th, and 5th. Might not sound that bad if you're looking at the LCS, but there were only 6 teams at this event. There were actually 7 people who played top lane because Soaz and Bwipo swapped, but a couple of those, basically one game, Soaz played top lane. So pretty much Huni was last in a lot of these categories. He was just caught out time and time again. I don't know if it was disrespect. He doesn't like to ward very much, maybe not taking this tournament as seriously as he could, just kind of going for the, a 1v2 outplay, 1v5 outplay, it seemed like a lot. That Renekton pick did not work out for him at all. I mean, look at all these clips of him 1v5 on the opposite side of the team fight from the rest of Echo Fox. He was constantly caught out, and he had a rough event overall. No big overreactions. It is still Rift Rivals, which is a made-up tournament. Not going to panic at all for the summer split for the likes of Huni. He still expect him to come back and be one of the premier top laners in the NALCS, but this was a bad tournament, a big dud for the top laner for Echo Fox, considering he started off summer pretty well, playing pretty much every position that you could imagine in this new meta, but he did not thrive at this event. And I blame the coaching staff a bit for letting him continue to pick Renekton when clearly that was not working out for him. He was not getting the lane dominance that you'd expect with that pick, especially when he's getting camped and decides not to ward and is constantly dying. 1v2. So Europe, congratulations. You are the 2018 Rift Rival champions, deservedly so. They looked like the stronger team coming into this event, and they proved it across the board. EU right now truly is greater than NA, but now North America is at its finest, where people have no hype for them heading into Worlds. Maybe that's where they can surprise some people, but probably not. But at least there's no big pressure for them coming into Worlds 2018, and maybe they have a better chance at proving themselves then. Coming up after the break, how China has proven that they are the best region right now, and they should be favorites for Worlds 2018. What's up, everybody? Welcome back here to League Unlock. My name is Eric, looking back at a wonderful, exciting, spicy weekend that was at Rift Rivals 2018. Europe is greater than North America, I'll say that again. And now I'm pretty sure you can confidently say that China is the best region on the planet. They won All-Stars 2017, MSI, and now Rift Rivals and RNG, and really all the teams that came from the LPL split into this event were all 5-1. They all looked like legitimate, world's threats to do well at the World Championship. These are standings, how things played out. The LPL won the finals 3-2, and we'll recap that mess, how they got there. Kingzone, oh no, another international competition, another disappointing performance from the back-to-back LCK champions. The only win they got was against an LMS team that was 0-3 in the 2018 summer split, so not exactly impressive. They went 0-2 in the group stage, dropping games to RNG and Flash Wolves. You don't see the LMS standings on here. Well, spoilers, no team got a win except for the Flash Wolves. They went 2-1. Everyone else went either 0-2 or 0-3. So LMS as a region, not very strong. Flash Wolves alone, very strong, and world contenders, really, as they've shown. They took out Kingzone and handed RNG their only loss at the event. Africa made their international debut, went 2-2. They were the chosen ones in that fifth game going up against RNG, which has a little bit of controversy, and deservedly so, considering KT Rolster were 4-0, the only team who hadn't lost at the event yet, and they decide, we'll go with Africa. The coaches believed that they were playing the Korean macro game the best out of all the teams. When it came to the finals only, they were kind of grading them based on their finals performance. They thought Africa looked the cleanest. I probably would have gone with KT just because overall the whole tournament they looked pretty good. And why would I have gone with KT? Well, they had one of the most dominant performances throughout the event. We're handing out studs and duds, and the stud, despite the LCK not winning the event, that honor, again, went to the LPL. Smeb and Score completely dominated the event. Smeb specifically in that top lane. He looked like the Smeb of old, really just taking over a lot of these games, and he went up against, the most marquee matchup probably, well, definitely, was the Shy, who came back to the lineup for IG at this event. He performed super well against him. Look at that, over a 10 KDA. 75% KP is pretty insane for a top laner. He was completely involved. That was actually higher than the likes of Score, who started all 4 games for KT. The fact that they played so dominantly, and again, got to give shout out to Score as well. He played on his birthday throughout this event, and for how well they played as a whole for KT, Smeb, Score, the entire squad, it's a tragedy that they're still not going to get a trophy because they didn't even get a chance to play in that fifth game. Really would have loved to see KT against RNG in that fifth and decisive match. They deserved it for how well they had played throughout the event. I'm surprised the coaching staff decided to go with them. Smeb and Score just completely controlled every game that KT was in. UCal performed more like he did in spring, more so than he has in summer. He looked fantastic. And Mata and Deft, you got to imagine they would have matched up pretty well against RNG's bot lane, or at least held their own, because those guys seemingly never fall behind in that laning phase. But they never got the chance to get there, but nonetheless, we got to give shout-outs to Smeb and Score for being some standout studs at this 2018 event for Rift Rivals. And really where the finals changed was that fourth game, because the LCK was up 2-1, and then Kingzone came in to play against the likes of Rogue Warriors, and now there's no doubt Rogue Warriors have looked super solid in the 2018 LPL summer split, but Kingzone, come on, they're big favorites in that matchup. But Rogue Warriors, credit to them, put up a massive performance doing B on that Kled in the mid lane. He was an absolute beast, and the Rogue Warriors put up a great game. Kingzone still does not look like their normal selves at these international events. They dropped that, and then it goes to the game 5, and RNG in a fifth game, you got to like them in that matchup. The dud of the tournament, I think you've got to pick a Kingzone guy because they just continue to not live up to the hype at these international events. At MSI, it was the likes of Khan really saying he was going to smash people and then not smashing them. Well, at this event, it was Prey. Prey actually looked fantastic at MSI, was probably the second best player at the event behind Uzi, but at this event, he did not look like his normal self, and I know some of the numbers don't fully do justice because it's a weird meta, but he only played one Morgana game, so those damage numbers being way down are a little surprising, especially because they had a funnel comp in one of those 4 games for him, so you'd expect those damage numbers to be way higher than that. But in that game where he was playing Xayah against Flash Wolves, he was getting caught out a lot. He was not positioning well, especially when you have an untargetable like that Xayah ultimate, and it just wasn't what you're accustomed to seeing from him at MSI and really throughout the majority of his career, which has stretched all the way back to Season 2, even a little bit before that. Positioning has been his standout trait that you can see when watching his games, but even on a guy like Lucian where he's getting a lot of free mobility with the dash, he was getting caught out a lot. I know when there's a super fed Kled charging down with 7,000 movement speed, there's not a whole lot you can do on that Lucian pick, but Prey had an underwhelming performance for Kingzone, and Kingzone as a whole, man, I don't know what you say about these guys. In Korea, they look like one of the greatest teams of all time, and then you go to these international events and they just don't quite live up to the hype. It's not like the SKT of old where you see them at an international event and they just instill fear in the entire rest of the field at the event. You saw that in both their MSIs whenever they did interviews, and you heard Koma just basically saying we're going to make them shake. They will be so scared to play us, and most teams were, and you saw that in their play against them. They just kind of played scared whenever they matched up against SKT. Teams don't fear Kingzone. Flash Wolves, RNG, they come in full force and take them down. Even the likes of Rogue Warriors, they're not scared of this team at these events because they've seen not only do they bleed, but they lose quite a bit at these events. So I don't know what to think about Kingzone, but right now, I don't think it's arguable. It's undeniable that the LPL is the best region in the world in 2018, and heading into Worlds, I think it's finally time we can say they're probably the favorites to take home that crown, whether it's RNG or even a lot of these other squads that look really solid. But RNG are going to be favorites for Worlds 2018. Coming up after the break, we'll look back at some of the other regions, some of the top plays. You had pentakills, backdoors, and wombo combos. There were plenty of fantastic plays to look at. We're back here on League Unlock. My name is Eric. We already recapped the big regions, EU, NA, LCK, LPL, LMS from Rift Rivals, but there were plenty of other amazing highlights from this event. We're going to go back and look at some of the other 3 regions. They had some big plays as well as the LCK. They also, of course, had some fantastic moments. We're talking 3 pentakills, 2 backdoors, an amazing wombo combo. These are just some of the things that we saw at Rift Rivals 2018.
At the base, there's a teleport in the base. They're trying to go for the win. Can he do it? Gameplays in the base. He's onto the turret. They're trying to stop Prey. They can't fight him. He's onto the Nexus now. No super minions left available. Prey can defend. One team fight.
He's going in for the kill.
He wants to get it. He got it.
He got the right.
To you, Prey. You have to pray. Flash Wolves, they're going to be knocking onto the Nexus. They keep the spirits and the dreams alive of the LMS.
Geri döndürmüyor bu arada. Freeze bitiriyor.
Freeze oyunu bitiriyor.
Freeze oyunu bitiriyor.
Göremedik Freeze ışınları.
Nemo Plague is there. Will it pop? No, it will not. Exosen goes in. Baron. They just want the Baron. It's on 500 health. But the Chase wants them. That's a Quadra. Looking for the pentakill now is raised. Will they get it? Ryoma, will they give it over to him? Yes, they will. Ryoma picks up a pentakill.
Вот Райма просто эпицентр событий, его могут забрать. Это размен пока что 1-0 в пользу команды Гамбит. Лодик стреляет. Лодика не остановить. Сейчас Ейджин дает ему по нему стан, но это не помогает Камиле ни разу, потому что один за другим команда Эвос падает. И это Квадро. А может быть и пентакилл будет для Лодика.
kill for himself. Gets the reset, gets the third. Can we see more slam dunks? I want more for this man. Gonna try and go for duel. Gets the quadra kill. One man left, and he's tasting it. What's that Vladimir? Khan gets it. Pentakill.
Bakalım burada daha fazlasını kaybetmemek lazım.
Ay!
Buraya paramparça. Davulda kaldı skor. Kara baltasıyla destek fight. Bir skor daha çıkarıyor. Yeni bir törü aldık. İrelia'yı da çıkardık. Oyunu bitirmek.
Now, that last clip might not seem like much, and it went by pretty quickly, but that was a Pike bone skewer into the Talia Rock, into a never move by Swain, and then the ulti from the Pike. That was super clean by the Bandits out of the TCL squad, and, shoutouts to them. That was some clean coordination, the CC chain train, pain train. It was fantastic to see, and obviously, far and away the most impressive Penta out of all those was Khans on the Darius. That was the only highlight for Kingzone from this event, was getting that win against M17 in those semifinals, because other than that, they did not perform that well at the event, but other than that one highlight, that was pretty impressive. So Kingzone, another disappointing performance. So we're going to look back at some of these other regions, because there was more than just EU and NA and the LCK and the LPL. There were also 3 other regions. We're going to do a big takeaway from every region at the event, starting with the last highlight you saw. We're talking about the TCL and as well as the LCL, the VCS. You have Freeze on those Bandits, who you might have forgotten he's still playing. He moved to Turkey, formerly of H2K and Renegades, Copenhagen Wolves. He's still got it. 8.9 KDA plus 20 CSD at 15. His squad was 5-1. Both those are the best of all 80 carries. He's not washed up. He's still performing well in Turkey. Out to Brazil and Latin America, Latin South America, which is one of the most fueled rivalries of all the regional rivalries. What we know is Latin North America cannot perform in these regional events. They're now 10-8 versus the other Latin regions, which doesn't sound that bad, but considering they've won 10 domestic titles in a row and have been so dominant domestically, the fact that they cannot take down their rivals is a little bit concerning. That's the second straight Rift Rivals where they've finished last, haven't even gotten to the finals. They've never gotten out of a group or finished first in their group at any of these events. OPL, Japan, and the Southeast Asia region, these finished a while ago. What we got to take away is BioPanther. That's right, BioPanther. What an absolutely insane name. The new top laner for the Direwolves, he's for real. 11.5 KDA, the highest at the entire event, 24 damage percentage. Chippies is gone. BioPanther is here. The LCK, what we can take from them, the LPL and the LMS, is Flash Wolves are legit, and they are going to be feared at 2018 Worlds. No longer is it going to be them. Oh, maybe a Western team can get past them. They are 9-9 against Korea all time, and this year they're 3-3 against Kingzone, 2-2 against RNG. You'd be scared to draw them into your group at the upcoming Worlds. EU versus NA, here's what you can take away from this event. Yes, Europe is greater than North America, but also no roster in North America is safe. You saw all these moves between Echo Fox and 100 Thieves. You've already seen those two teams, C9 and TSM, have already benched guys. I think there's going to be a lot more movement for 2018 summer. Medios is out. You've got to expect Levi is going to be getting a whole lot more starts near the end of 2018 summer. That's all the time today for League Unlocked. My name's Eric. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.